والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الخلق نبينا محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. I prepared something about Imam Kazim alayhi salam, but I'm going to say different narration than what I have on the paper, which is important for us these days to take example from these narrations and from what happened to the Imams alayhim salam. Safwan comes to Imam Kazim alayhi salam. Some of you might know the story, some may not, but Safwan comes to Imam and said, Imam heard that Safwan was going to rent his camel. He has a bunch of camels that he rents out. That's his business. And Harun al-Rashid, the Khalifa at the time, when he goes to Hajj, when he go to a big trip, he rents all these camels. He put all his group, all his people on the camels and travel with them, take them to Hajj or other places. So that year he was taking them. Safwan comes to Imam one of the days, and then Imam asked him, he said, "Oh Safwan, I heard that you are going to rent your camels." And he said, "Yes, I am. That's what I do." And Imam asked him, and he said, This is something you rented to Harun Rashid, which the Khalifa, that opposite to Imam, that was against the Imam. Because at that time, Imam was always announcing the boycott. We hear about the boycott these days, but at the time, Imam Kazim was absolutely energizing the boycott of the Khalifa, Harun al-Rashid. He was energizing that. And he was 100% calling for it and pushing for it. And he was imprisoned and all that, but suffered because of that. But the intention was to take out the Khilafah, the Abbasid Khilafah. So Imam said, "You're renting to him, to the Taghiya, the tyrant, you're renting the camels." So Safwan, in his thinking, he thought, but oh, Yabna Rasulullah, the son of Rasul, oh, I'm not renting him to fight wars or anything. I'm actually renting him only when he goes to Hajj. Only on his trip to Hajj, I rent him those camels. Safwan thinking, I'm renting him to go to Hajj. He knows this Khalifa is not good. He thinks, I rent it to him. He goes to Hajj, I'm doing good because he's going to Hajj. This is where the narration, us, especially the Shia, we have to think about these things and contemplate on it and really look at the details of things. As a Muslim in general, not just Shia, but this lesson from Imam was for us to reflect on. As a Muslim in general, we need to think about some stuff that we do, we don't think about it, that it's not good. We just think it's normal. So here, the conversation was, Safwan said, I only rent it to him when he goes to Hajj. Imam alayhi salam said, don't you wish or hope to God that he comes back safe so he can bring you back your camels? Safwan said, of course, I want him to come back safe so he can bring back my camels. He goes, then in that, what you're just doing right there, what you're doing is you're hoping that he does well, that God lengthen his life, that God gives him health, just by you hoping he comes back safe so you can take your camels. You're hoping all those things without you mention it. You're hoping to lengthen his life, for him not to die, because you want your camels back. You're hoping he doesn't get sick, so you can get your camels back. You're hoping the trip, everything goes well for him, just so you can get your camels back. He goes, think about that. You're hoping for the tyrant, for the oppressor, for the one who stole the Khilafah, wishing him all these good things to bring your camels back. You're renting it for Hajj, but that's what you're doing. So Safwan goes ahead. When he heard that from Imam, he get rid of his camels. He don't let them be around. The aide for the Khalifa comes and asks Safwan, where's your camels? And he said, I sold them all. How could you sold them? You're going to anger the Khalifa, you're going to do this and that. He said, I don't have any more camels. Tell him the afterlife for me is better than this life. I have no more camels to rent out. This narration. Another person, the guy, I don't know what he's called in English, the guy that sew the clothes, making the clothes. At the time, you know, the guy, he sew pants, your clothing. This guy also comes to Imam and asks him a question. He said, Yabna Rasulullah, I am the guy that sold the clothes for Harun al-Rashid and for his aides. Am I a taghiya? Am I a tyrant? Am I one of those oppressors? No, he asked him, am I an aid to the oppressor? He said, am I an aid to the oppressor? Am I an aid to the taghiya of that era? Am I aiding the person that's bad? Just because I sew his clothes, I fix his clothes for him? Imam said, you're not an aid to that. You are a tyrant. Walaikum salam. Imam said, you are the tyrant. You're not just an aid. You are taghiya. You're not just an aid to the taghiya. You are that one. That person was shocked. He's like, how could it be? All I'm doing is sewing his clothes. I'm not responsible for anything else. Imam alayhi salam said, the aid for the tyrant is the one that's selling you the thread. The aid for the tyrant is the one selling you the needle to sew with it. That's the aid. But you're doing it, so you are the tyrant. You are that guy. These fine little details that we might not look at are so important. Here the Imam alayhi salam, Imam Qasim was giving us lessons in life, lessons for the future to come, that anytime you do, we might think of something that, hey, I'm just doing this, something simple. For example, you vote for someone you know is bad, but you vote for him. You're voting. You want that guy to succeed. If that guy rages a war, you're responsible because you voted for that guy. This is how detailed things are. Not to get into politics, but the boycott, it works. And it worked at that time for the Imam. Because then most of the aid for Harun al-Rashid, for that Khalifa, ended up being either Turkish or Persian. Almost all the Arab from that area, they would not work or work with or aid the Khalifa. They said they boycott him because Imam said boycott this guy. Nothing, absolutely nothing to do with this guy. They stopped it. So these are lessons for us to reflect on, that Imam alayhi salam kind of certain schedule for us, give us a roadway on how we need to behave in the future. These are important, very important lessons these days for what's happening to this ummah, the whole Islamic nation, the whole nation of Islam around the world, for this whole ummah, what's so-called 2 billion people, that nobody could save children of Gaza from starving. This is a lesson from any country that we go through. You hear all these incidents that's happening. For us, yet all these countries don't do anything. So these are lessons for us to learn, that who we work with, who we deal with, what to do in life. So it's important. You work at a place, for example, that make military stuff. If the guy filling up the ammunition, you're responsible. If you're filling up the ammunition, those ammunition go to kill Muslim innocent people, even non-Muslim, but as long as they're innocent, you're responsible for it. This is our responsibility. These are lessons from our Imam. So to think about all the details in our life, what we do, just what we do. Imagine somebody, a pilot to fly a plane with Netanyahu on it. You're aiding that guy to get from point A to point B, to be able to plot and do something killing people. Same thing. Turkey, Saudi Arabia, all these countries, Jordan, they supplied Israel with all the vegetables and all that stuff during the 2-year war. But they would not supply any aid to Gaza people, to Gaza children, to the babies that were dying because they have no milk. But the Jordan king said, oh, I'm protecting my sovereignty. But he said, oh, we have relationship, we have to continue. He's going to be judged with Allah one day. Judgment will be there, will be harsh on him. He will pay the price for doing that, for aiding the oppressor and not aiding the people that need it. This is the difference between people that follow Ahlul Bayt, people don't follow Ahlul Bayt. This is the big message. You want to follow. That's why Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Man kuntu mawla, fahaza aliyyun mawla." If you want to follow me, you want to follow the right way, you got to follow Imam Ali alayhi salam. Not because his cousin, because he loves him. No, because that's the right path. He knows where the right path is. So this is the difference between us who follow Ahlul Bayt and the people that don't follow Ahlul Bayt, because they can easily justify anything, Like someone would tell you, I eat anyway if I say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim on meat, then it becomes halal. It's not halal. If it's not halal, it's not halal. Anytime you want to eat, you should supposed to say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. You grab a piece of bread, you grab cheese, you grab rice, anytime you eat, you have to say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So if you grab a piece of meat, it doesn't mean it's halal. It's just, it's not, the dhabiha was not halal. That's how things get justified. And this is the narration of the Imam. It's something we need to reflect on any little detail in our life to hopefully we can improve. Whatever we're lacking, whatever we're short on, that we can improve by the message that the Imam relayed to us. Safwan was only renting camel to this guy. Just think about it. He's just doing rental. He's not, he's not helping the guy in any other way. But look at how the Imam told him, you are helping him. You making him go there. You're giving him all that he needs to get there, to justify that he is the Khalifa when he had stole it. So this is the difference between you follow the right path of Ahlul Bayt and you follow the other path. And this is where you see who's standing up for what is right around the world right now. Other than the followers of Ahlul Bayt, who is saying the truth? Who's standing up and saying this is not right or this is not justice? Only followers of Ahlul Bayt. This is this different school. That's why it's a school that we do not give up. We do not be lenient with the oppressor. Anywhere, anytime. Not saying military or whatever. No. In any possible means. So Imam was calling for boycott from those days against the tyrant. Here we can do our part. There's a tyrant out there, there's oppressor out there, we can do our part. Just each individual follow as much as you can. And then that is what's going to be written for you, for us on Judgment Day, that we did what was right to do. Especially these times. These times are very I know a while back we talked about is a war on Shia. There's a war on Islam, but specifically Shia. Because they know if they can destroy these guys, they can do whatever they want in Islam. It's these guys that are keeping things together. It's us that keep that religion, that faith together. So this is a message of Imam Qasim alayhi salam, that to watch out for every little detail, that we do whatever takes place. والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. عجل فرجهم. I prepared something from the Quran as well, but also because we're talking about Imam Qasim alayhi salam, it's good to just keep mentioning a few more things. Shaykh al-Mufid in the Irshad fi Ma'rifat Hujjatullah, he narrated and he said that Imam al-Qasim alayhi salam, he's written a letter to his followers, a letter to the followers of Ahlul Bayt, to the Shia. He's saying, Allah knows what you're on, so be patient and be sure that relief is near. And Satan does not facilitate you from religion. Make sure Satan doesn't take you astray. Make sure Satan doesn't deviate you. This is the time, this time that we're living in, especially on the West, in the West. Everything's, you can see everything's fighting against us. The propaganda, the media, all the stuff, it's just on us. So Imam is telling us you have to be patient. The only way to deal with it is really be patient. If you look in the Quran, so many places, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about patience as well. During Rajab, we have that 2 rak'ah that we do after Isha, which we read Surah Al-Inshirah. it's really good surah to just look at the detail of it and then the tafsir and explanation of that surah. And you see how Allah focused there on patience, telling the Prophet that I gave you patience, I have widened your chest, meaning the metaphor of widening your chest, meaning I gave you the knowledge, I gave you the patience to be able to withstand things. Patience is very important. These days, we need patience. We need to be able to know how to deal with things, how to deal with our kids, how to deal with our relatives, because it's easy they can go the wrong way. They can go somewhere else if we don't pay attention, if we don't raise our kids right, if we don't teach them the right way and let them know what's wrong and what's right. It's so important. We talked about family a couple of weeks back. It's very important because we are responsible. If my kids go the wrong way because I didn't teach them, then that's my responsibility. Judgment Day, I'm going to be judged. Imam left a letter for his followers. This is how you do it. This is what you need to do. There is few guidance that was left for us to do. This is go throughout history. But it's very important for us these days because all this attack on Islam, the attack on Islam everywhere, the propaganda, the media that just keeps smearing Islam in a bad way. Said when he was imprisoned, he recommended to his son, and he said, Ya bunayya usikum bitaqwa Allah. Oh my son, I recommend you to fear Allah. Be patient with this courage. Accompany the truth, and stay away from lining with the Sultan. The Sultan is Harun al-Rashid, the one we just talked about in the first khutbah. Sultan Harun al-Rashid did everything he possibly could. If you see what Harun al-Rashid did, how everything he could, Harun al-Rashid got to a point, he would ask his aide, he will say, is there anyone of that family anywhere that you know of? Let me know. What he was asking is, if there's anyone of Ahlul Bayt that's left, let me know so I can kill him. Let me know so I can take care of him. The point was, erase that. Erase Ahlul Bayt, take him out. So here Imam Kazim alayhi salam saying, أوصيكم بتقوى الله والصبر على البلاء. Recommend you to fear Allah. Be patient on the bala. There's a lot of bala these days. Allah is saying, be patient. There's no way we could be victorious as a Muslim after if we just hope for victory. There has to be bala first. Allah will give us that bala. Allah will give us all that trial that we go through, and the more difficult it gets, then the better the victory would be for Muslims. The better the result would be for us. Whether we die before we see victory in the world, or before Imam Mahdi alayhi salam, the appearance, or before that. If not, at least we will gain the life after. At least we will gain that if we did the right thing. So Imam telling his kid, just be patient. And also used to do a lot of dua also while he was in prison. Just so you know, we hear about prison, we hear about these things, how people suffer in prison. Imam was put in a hole in the ground, in a space that he cannot stand up. He cannot stand up fully. He cannot sleep laying down fully. Suffer tied up. It's not just easy things like, we think, prison. These days we think of prison like we see prison here. You go, plenty of room, bunk beds, they sleep comfortable. No, things were different. He was suffering. They will beat him, they will do all. Harun al-Rashid wanted to get him out. He knows if this person is out of prison, Harun al-Rashid would not be a Khalifa anymore, because people will see the truth. He will tell the truth about the Khalifa. So Imam used to always, repeat the dua, Allahumma innaka ta'lamu anni kuntu as'aluka an tufrighani li'ibadatika wa qad fa'altu falaka alhamd. Imagine the Imam in prison, with everything he's suffering with, he's giving thanks to Allah. He's making hamd. He's saying, oh Allah, alhamdu laka, that you gave me this time to only be dedicated to your ibadah. He's in prison, he turned that into ibadah. He took that to his advantage. I'm in prison, he's not going to sit there and cry about it and, weep and complain. He turned to ibadah. So with his ibadah, he's saying, oh Allah, I've always asked you if you can give me more time to do ibadah toward you, and Allah, for you, I thank you that you gave me this time in prison. Gave me this time that I'm doing more ibadah. Also, one of his narration as well, a recommendation, he said, وَمَنْ لَمْ يَسْتَطِعْ أَنْ يَصِلْنَا فَلْيَصِلْ فُقَرَاءَ شِيعَتْنَا. Whoever cannot reach us to help us, like we're far from the Imam, go after the poor people. Go after the people that our followers, go after those poor, after the needy. Quran always mentioned the needy. Quran always mentioned patience. These things, as a Muslim, we have to focus on. Visit the graves of our good people. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Another thing, I'm sure most of you hear that he used to be called At-Tayyib ibn At-Tayyib. At-Tayyib ibn At-Tayyib. The good one, the son of the good ones. There's a story for that. The good one, the son of the good one. When they killed Imam Musa alayhi salam, when they killed him, they called him, they said, this is the, they called him like in bad words, this is the son of such and such. Bad words, calling him names, that's bad. So when they start doing that, later on they start calling him At-Tayyib ibn At-Tayyib, because he is Tayyib, he is the son of At-Tayyib. He is the good one, he's the son of the good one. They said he's the Imam of the rejectors, so know him. When they killed him, you need to know him. And then when he came to the police council, they sat on him 4 people and called, is there anyone who wanted to see the malicious son of the malicious son? That's how they were calling Imam Qasim alayhi salam. The malicious son of the malicious, his father. That's what it was called. That's why later on it said, no, he's a Tayyib ibn Tayyib. He's not malicious, the son of a malicious. He endured a lot from Harun al-Rashid. As a kid, when I studied history back home, they make Harun al-Rashid like he's such a good guy. If you look at that history, such a nice Khalifa, such a nice person, he did so good. But when you look at the true history, you see how bad this person was. Here, when they were calling him the malicious, the son of a malicious, then Harun Rashid, people start raging up. People start gathering and saying, this cannot be. They know who Musa ibn Ja'far is. They know the truth. People start gathering up and getting together like, no, it's about to cause a riot. Then he pointed to one of his aides. He said, take care of that. Take care of it. Do something about it. People are getting up. People are rising up. So then that's when this person was one of his guards, one of his main aides. He told him, go ahead, take care of that while this is during the funeral. This person went out, cut off his clothes, tore his clothes out and stuff, and started crying, like as if he's crying for the Imam's death. He said, oh my God, this, oh my God, that. He started crying so people could join this guy and think, oh no, you know what, they're sad that Imam got killed. People at Tyranny funeral, they know Harun al-Rashid poisoned the Imam, killed the Imam, yet these people easily, they can switch. They can easily forget things. And this is what we see these days. You see a lot of Muslims around the world calling. You see Muslims saying, why should we aid Gaza, for example? What do you mean, why should they aid Gaza or other than Gaza? The people aid anybody that in need anywhere around the world. That's Islam. Islam doesn't say just aid Muslim or just aid Shia, for example, alone. No, Imam Ali never did that. It's aiding anybody, any Muslim. It's not religious, has nothing to do with religion, has nothing to do with the country we're from. You aid the people that need it. If we look at all the Imams throughout, every time, all the time, their recommendations is to be patient, be, taqwa Allah, do good, do this, help the needy. They never mentioned the Muslim needy only. Needy, anybody in need, we're supposed to help. That's what Islam message is about. We can't just aid somebody because he's from my country. It doesn't matter if he's my country or not. If he's needy, he's in need. And that's another way to actually spread Islam. You see, people see that in you, they see you. People ask me, why is that? Sometimes, my neighbor said one time, you're such a nice guy, why you do that? I said, my religion asked me to do that. I'll use that. For me, it's how I grew up at the house, but I'll use that toward my religion for my neighbor that is not Muslim. I'll use it to my advantage to show him, you know what, you see Islam on TV one way, but this is Islam, this is true Islam. So I do this when I help, when I join with you, when I do good things to you as a neighbor, I let him know. There's an Arabic say, it's the neighbor before my relative. I take care of you because you're my neighbor. They start seeing things in Islam. They start looking into Islam a little bit differently. It's how we behave. Remember, Imams told us, كُونُوا لَنَا عَوْنًا وَلَا تْكُونُوا لَنَا شَيْنًا. We have to be the example, not just by what we read. We read, oh, it sounds good. We have to implement it. As a Muslim, that has to be implemented. And this is the recommendation of the Imam all the time. So that's why you see, where's Harun al-Rashid these days? And where Imam Musa Kazim alayhi salam? History will write what is right. History is going to write what's going on the past couple, 3 years about exactly what is right. The Israelis are putting millions and hundreds of millions of dollars just for the propaganda so they don't look as bad anymore. But they can't erase it. Things are out there on TV, they can't erase it. Like we talked in the first khutbah, Imam back then called for boycott of Harun al-Rashid. Here it's our responsibility also to do the right thing, not to be doing something that would aid the bad people, that would aid the oppressor. We cannot. We do that, that's aiding somebody. We're responsible for it. We're going to be judged on it. We can't say, oh, this, Yawm al-Qiyamah on Judgment Day, we can't just say, oh, I wasn't doing anything. I was, or I was living in the West and I'm not so responsible because I was living in the West. We have to at least to do our part, So here, that's why Imam, they used to say, whoever wanted to look at the Tayyib ibn al-Tayyib wa Tahir ibn al-Tahir, فَلْيَحْضَرْ جِنَازَةَ الْإِمَامِ. Whoever want to see, watch the funeral of Imam al-Khazim alayhi salam. You want to see the Tayyib, the son of the Tayyib, watch the Janazah of Imam al-Khazim alayhi salam. And those recommendations of Imam, they're pretty good if we follow, if we take it seriously and say, this is our way, this is how I have to live my life in order to follow that. We're not perfect, but we can always do a little extra. We can always do a little extra. Last year in Ramadan, I said, by next Ramadan, if we're still the same way, that means we didn't improve. We didn't do anything. Ramadan is approaching in about a month and a half or a month or a week maybe. Ramadan is approaching. If we haven't improved ourselves from last year to now, if we haven't learned anything new, even if you learn one hadith, even if you studied one ayah and know the meaning of the ayah, why it was revealed, we're improving. If we do that, we're doing something for ourselves. Like the Prophet and like the Imam asked us to do, we have to constantly improve ourselves. Imam Ali alayhi salam always said, "Man tasawa yawma fahuwa maghbun." If you 2 of your days in your life, those 2 days, if they're the same, then you didn't do anything. Maghbun, it's not something good word. It means he's a fool. He didn't improve. From one day to another, he didn't improve his life. He didn't improve his knowledge, for example. So even if you just read the Quran, read the ayah and don't know the meaning of it, instead of just reciting the Quran, you know the meaning of that ayah. Once a day, once a week, once a month, we're improving, we're doing something. This thing here is forcing me to learn, forcing me to do stuff. Alhamdulillah, this is making me actually read more. And the more I read, it's like a sponge. You want to read more, you want to know more. Now all of a sudden you have a little bit of knowledge, you want to get some more knowledge. So this also helps us, helps all of us. And all that is written for us. These are holy months that we're in. Just remember, whatever we do, these are holy months. The ajr is tens and tens of times again, whatever we do. If you just listen to Quran, you know, people that don't speak Arabic, at least recite the Quran. I mean, listen to recitation in Arabic. It helps you, it gets you used to listening the pronunciation of the Quran, and you're getting good deed. Instead of listening to different things, music or what, you can listen to Quran. It would help us. All these good things is just, it's all written for us on Judgment Day. You never know when that happened. You want more in your scale that is good. So all of that would help you improve. And Allah say, you come, in Arabic it says, Allah said, if you come one step toward me, I'll come many steps toward you. If you try that much to get closer to Allah or do something decent or get to know Allah or think about the creation of Allah, Allah's saying, I come so much closer to you. So you go that much closer, He gets that closer to you. It opens your eyes to things that makes you want to know more. Before you know it, Allah will guide you in that way. But we have to try ourselves. We have to work harder on it. We have to search for it. We can't just sit back and say, especially us that are born Muslim. I always talk about this. Us that are born Muslim, because we take it for granted. We're Muslim, we're born Muslim. Others that worked hard to get there, worked very, very hard to get to it, versus us who are born Muslims, think, oh, okay, I'm Muslim, I'm good. No, the responsibility is more on you. You gotta know. If you don't, you'll be judged for it as well. It's a blessing, alhamdulillah, that we're born that way. But just think of the brothers and the sisters that the journey they have to cross to get to Islam. Just think of that journey, how much effort it took and how much contemplation and thinking to get to there. That's something we're born with, and we say, alhamdulillah, we're born that way. So when we are born with it, we have to take advantage of it. We have to work on it. We have to do something. And it's also for our families. If I'm at home, today I don't have my kids here. Okay, good, I don't have any of my kids. If I'm at home, if I'm not doing my prayer in front of my kids, how my kids are going to do prayer? I've seen family members, I've seen family that I know. The mom and dad don't do any prayer, don't fast, don't do any of that. The kids come up and say, come on man, Allah's going to judge me on day because I didn't fast, I didn't stop eating it. That's the mentality. It's not about stop eating. It's part of worship. Allah ordered us to do that worship. So if we practice at home, the rest of the family will eventually join you. They'll see, even if they're not doing it now, they'll see that in the future, you know what, that's what my parents used to do, that's what my grandparents used to do, or that's what my brother was doing. At one point that person's going to be guided. At one point that person's something's going to make him click and think, you know what, I need to do that. And these are good times, these are good months to do it. You cannot get any better time than this to do extra work. If you get up and you do Salatul Layl, and your son or your brother or your mom or your dad, if you're young, mom and dad see you doing Salatul Layl, and they get up, it makes that person feel bad. Makes that person feel bad. The extra fasting day, sometimes I don't want to do it, I'm exhausted. I do certain stuff. My wife comes, you want to fast tomorrow? Think about it. If I don't, one day Allah is going to say, she reminded you want to fast, and you said no. That reminder has an effect on it. So if you get up, you do Salatul Layl, your family member is going to see you. You do it over and over and over. Eventually someone in that household is going to start doing Salatul Layl. Why? Because he sees someone else is doing it. What I'm saying is practice helps others. And just think all that good deed come to you. You read verse of the Quran, you share it with your family, that good deed. They share it with their friend, that's continuous good deed for you. There's hadith said, if you mention any hadith of the Imam, mention any hadith of Imam Ali alayhi salam, as long as that hadith is written somewhere, or Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, anytime that hadith is written, that hadith is mentioned, like you put it on Twitter, for example, or on Facebook, anytime that hadith is still written, you still earn good deed for it that is there. As long as someone on the other end is reading it, someone will benefit from it. It will make someone's mind click for that hadith. So whatever extra you do is written for you, and then hopefully someone will carry that. Still the reward come to you. It's like sadaqah jariyah. Same thing. Put that sadaqah here, we pass away, that sadaqah jariyah. As long as that keep continue, we get benefit from that sadaqah. Because after all, once that someone died, what they have, their family that read al-Fatiha for them, do good deed for them in their names. Some people have no one to do that. If you didn't leave any good basis for your family to do that for you, who's going to do it for you when you pass away? You're done, your time is done, that's it. So these are recommendations of the Imam, is to be good, to try and do good and focus on everything we do. The recommendation is, if you see someone that's not good, don't aid that someone that's no good. Don't aid him. I'm not saying go fight him, but don't aid him. That's the main thing with the Imam. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل الفرج.